This week on the Park It On podcast, we're in our final 3 weeks of match reports. I tell you how state singles went, we do a wrap on BPL21, we have a double update on the pay to win index, and as always we wrap it up with a little bit of Schuey's wisdom. It's time to Park It On! Welcome, punters, to the Park It On podcast, the only lawn bowls podcast that really captures that feeling of slamming a lawn bowl on for shot. My name's Riley, a Div 5 bowler, and joining me as usual is the techie, the pecky, the best friend of Olympian swimmer Katie Ledecky, the simply and enviably specky, Jimmy.
I read that one, and I'm not gonna lie, it's both your best work and your worst work, I think. I actually don't know Katie Ledecky. It is 6:30 in the morning, Tuesday morning, because Riley's got to go to the Riverland at the back end of this week.
Yep.
So we're making it work.
We are making it work. It is too early to be sat in front of a computer. We're supposed to be in the water, but there was no chance we were getting in the water today anyway, so we're recording the pod instead.
Yes. Speaking of putting a lawn bowl on, I saw a video of you doing it on the weekend.
Yes. Oh, man. The one video that our faithful videographer took was of me getting the arsiest shot of my life. For context, we're playing state singles against this guy. He's parked some bloody beautiful bowls in. I'm down about 3, and I think to myself, right, if I hook a little swinger into the head here, I can probably hit one of the 2 bowls that are vying for shot, both of which were his. And I'll sort of just like fall over and I'll take second wood. All I wanted was second, just to cut him down, because, you know, in a format like 21 up, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but basically 21 up, you only have so many shots to lose. You want to minimize that if you know you're going to lose one. Anyway, I swing it in and it just bounces and then it flops in for shot. I go, oh, fuck, here we go. Yeah, lawn bowls is one of those weird sports where, yes, you are more than welcome to celebrate your successes, but it is considered extremely gauche to celebrate something that is, like, lucky, right? And so when it bounced in and rolled over for shot, I was like, I'll take the shot, but damn, that feels bad. Bit of arse in there. But equally, you know, if you put bowls in the position where they may succeed, then you have every right to celebrate that. But, you know, massaging egos is part of lawn bowls, and you just got to be a bit mindful of what you're doing. So, you know, as my good friend Kendrick Lamar, personal friend of the show, says, sit down, be humble. And that served me well in my lawn bowling career.
Yeah, so I've got a lot of pictures and a singular video. I might put up the video earlier than the pictures. The pictures might end up just being the cover for the Instagram post for the episode, but the video will most likely go up as its own post.
Incredibly based.
And we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, I was looking at some of these photos. I didn't realize how much my hair comes out now.
Oh yeah, yes.
For as long as you've known me, I've had really short hair. And so I've grown my hair out this year. Not really on purpose, it just sort of happened. But now I just have this like little halo at the back of my head. Almost like Krusty the Clown-esque.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially with the hat, it definitely makes it a lot more crusty.
Yeah. Ah, well.
Alright, did we want to crack into the first match report for your Pennants, Riley?
Oh, mate, we got some match reports up the wazoo this week. So, on Saturday, it was forecast to be 38 degrees Celsius, which meant either no bowls or start bowls very early. So we started at 9 in the morning, and I'm going to be honest with you, Jimstar, I wasn't really feeling it rocking up to the bowls club. Rocking up to Woodville. Beautiful place, Woodville, by the way. Really nice facilities, cool club, cool people. Their service is interesting. It's a lot of fun showing up and getting to have a roll on their greens. But, you know, at the end of last week's pod, I did mention that I may have a surprise for everyone next week. And I can now talk a little bit more candidly about what that was going to be. So essentially, because Rudy, was playing in BPL21, if he was getting back from the tournament a little later, essentially, if they didn't have Rudy for our Premier League side, there's going to be a lot of shuffling going around, and I might have been playing a different division. And I found out on Thursday night that they're actually going to get there on time. Everything's all right. Everything's all organized. We don't need you. And it is such an honor to be thought of to shuffle up, because I play Div 5, right? Anytime a Div 5 is going to move up, massive win, massive win. But it did feel a bit average. I was a bit down about it. But at the end of the day, all you can really do is just keep plugging away, keep doing your thing, and if you are doing well, then your time will come. It will, especially if you are a visible member of the Bowls Club. And I think if there's one thing you can describe me as at Old Grange, I am a visible human being.
Up and around it.
I think it's just called being an annoying little bastard, but anyway. Yeah, so late in the piece on Thursday, I got the call saying, sorry, mate, it's not going to happen for you this week. And I was like, thank you for thinking of me anyway. That was awesome. But yes, so rock up 9 a.m. You're not allowed to do a roll-up before an early start. It's a conditions of play nonsense. I don't really know. So no real warm-up other than the 2 roll-up ends. So roll-ups are just warm-ups. And in my roll-up ends, Jimster, terrible. Not good. I was a little wide of it. I was a little short of it. On a synthetic green, especially if it gets a bit warmer, it can go really, really slowly. So I was really struggling with the speed of the green and especially the finish of the bowls. I like playing a nice wide loopy draw, and on a green that doesn't have a lot of finish on it, I can really struggle early in the piece. So all that to say, first end, we've won the toss, so I have the mat, deliver the jack, deliver my first bowl, resting toucher.
Very nice.
Second end, deliver the mat, deliver the jack, deliver my bowl, resting toucher.
My goat.
And so it went for the entire day pretty much. I had maybe 2 ends where I was nowhere near it, but the rest of the time I was either putting down a resting toucher or I was maybe a mat length away at most. I was just on some other fucking level on Saturday, just parking them on and parking them on and parking them on. And, for all that parking it on I was doing, Jimstar, we were losing badly.
As is the way.
We were behind literally the entire game. We won a couple ends, and then it was just, they got big score, they got big score, they got big score, we get a 2. They get big score, we get a 2. And we ended up coming into the final end 11-15 down. Now, Jimstar, I've spoken before on this pod about how, as much as I love my bowls, and I love the mechanics of actually playing, I do not typically enjoy leading in a fours context. And this game was a really good example as to why I can get really frustrated with the position at times. Because for as much as I was parking stuff on, and for as much, ribbing and fun we were having as a group, at one point, our skipper was calling our second to come on the same hand over and over again. So the third goes, hey, next time he calls you on that same hand, just go the other one. And our second turns around and goes, what's Div 7 like?
Oh, that's unbelievable. That's unreal.
You've met my
gear.
second. He's a fucking hilarious fella. Massive shit stirrer, but we love him.
Hey, look, they're just taking on that Schuey's wisdom from last week, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Loyal listeners of the pod. I found out, by the way, the other day, our mate Ethan doesn't fucking listen to this.
No, he doesn't.
What a bastard.
He'll listen to this one, though.
Yeah, this will be the one that he listens to, and we're just slagging him off for 10 minutes. I put in all the... We're going on a sidebar. Fuck it. I have been trying to get these fellas to play lawn bowls for literally 2 years. Because I knew the second that Ethan picked up a lawn bowl and had a go, he would be fucking in. He would love the thing, right? And so for the fella who I explicitly targeted, explicitly knew he's going to froth the shit out of this, for him not to listen to this, it's a bit disappointing, Sometimes you think you know someone, and then you don't. Nah, he's a good fella. We love him. So yes, I historically get very annoyed with the lead position because park stuff on, and whether the jack gets moved or my bowls get knocked away. We would finish all these ends with my bowls nowhere near the fucking jack and them scoring, even though I've put stuff on like where it needs to go. And that's just demoralizing after a while. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how well you're going. If you constantly are excluded from the scoring aspect of the game by no fault of your own, feels pretty shit. But anyway, kept plugging them in. We just kept going. You know, in a lot of these situations, and Schuey talks about it in his book, you just got to keep the pressure on, because sometimes people will just fuck up. And we just keep plugging in the shots, and as I said, we're down 15 to 11 on the final end of the game. Plug my 2 in, no resting toucher, but like a match distance away at most. Our second plugs 2 in, pretty close on his own. Our third plugs 2 in, pretty close on his own. And as we're walking down, I look at the head and I go, we might be on here. Bearing in mind, we need a cheeky 5 to win this whole thing. And my dad was watching with us, and I go and sit down with the old fella, and I go, a 5 to win is possible, but not overall probable. And then our skip puts a bowl down, their skip puts a bowl down, and I know we're holding 4. And then our skip puts another one in, and it looks pretty... It's close. Their skip puts a bowl down, it's nowhere near the head. So out comes the tape. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, sick. We drew. I'm about to, the words are physically about to come out of my lips, where I'm about to say, look, that's a bit more of a representative game state. You know, we were a very even tussle all day. Everyone played super well. And then our third just moves the tape and drapes it over the 5th bowl in the count. So we've gone from not leading all day after like the second end to winning the final end with a 5 and winning the whole fucking game.
Again, my goat.
As I said at the top of the show, it is considered very gauche in lawn bowls to really celebrate and be like, bombastic's not the word I want, but like be energetic and like emotional, and I'm struggling for the word here, hang on.
I think, yeah, you probably said the best one there with, like, I guess bombastic, but I guess over the top and almost celebrating the loss of others, or like the
it's a very like gentlemanly game, for want of a better term. Like you take your wins and you take your losses with the same amount of vigor. You
essentially celebrate only things that are within your control. Parking one on, yeah, you clap that. But then, you know, as you said earlier, like hitting, like wicking off 2 into shot is considered probably not a great thing to clap.
Yeah. That's like the weird etiquette of lawn bowls is just very fun. Some weird shit will get you in trouble. There's a pod in that, surely, as part of the tutorial series.
Yeah, like etiquette on the greens.
Yeah, we can do that. Send us your best weird bits of bowls etiquette.
Yeah. Or your like angry boomer stories.
I've got one of those for this week. Massive shout out to Woodville. Great club. They're playing finals this year. Power to them. They'll go well. Their surface was super interesting because it's a slower surface. It's the same sort of carpet that Nova Gardens has. But they actually take care of it. And they actually, like, you know, protect it from shit instead of sort of leaving it out there and letting it cook like a certain club on Anzac Highway do. But like in the heat, because it was getting so hot, every 4 ends or so, it would get like half a second slower. So the speed we were playing at the start of the game was way, way faster than the speed that we finished the game at. And it was really like off-putting. But, you know, the lead had a fantastic day. We had a great singles match out there, tussling. Like, for how well I was playing, he was playing in another bloody stratosphere, man. He kept like knocking me away, the prick. It was very annoying, but he had such a good day out. Bloody good on him. Their second genuinely kept them in the game for so long, because for every time the lead would have a bad one, the second would just park one on or knock me away or just do something and turn into a bloody 3 for them. And it was so frustrating to play against. Like, you can't have a go because they're just playing well, but man, does it annoy ya. But yeah, like their third, great, having a great day out. Their skip, of course, being the captain, putting down some captain's bowls and just really sealing the deal for him. Bloody ripper rink, ripper club, fantastic time. And they've made a contribution to the pay-to-win index for later in the show. So yes, all the bloody best to them in finals. Go kill Nova Gardens for us. All right.
I'm going to, at the top of this match report, say that Thursday through Saturday last week, my workplace did a conference, and 4 out of, I think it is 8 now, of our Night Owls squad work for this company. So we were at the conference, and then when we talk about the state singles, that was on Sunday morning, and I was extremely violently hungover from the night before, so I couldn't make it. And then I had to go look at a wedding venue. So this is going to be a very Riley heavy, 40 minutes, just letting you know.
Yeah, this is basically just going to be me chatting about bowls, which, is often what happens in my car anyway. So welcome to the inside of my car. I'm in the driver's seat, and we're just going to go for a little cruise on the Lawn Bowls Highway. So, Thursday night, I didn't fix the date. Man, there's always something I fuck up in these damn show notes. Anyway, Thursday night, played against Jack's Pack in game 1. It was a good game out, The Jack's Pack boys are pretty famous around Grange Night Owls. They're always up and amongst it. They're good bowlers, good fellas. We had a lot of fun playing against them. And, we were putting stuff in, and we bowled well, and they just pipped us at the post. They did really well and just sort of took us out. And, there's not much else to say about it, really. They were having a lot of fun, doing some cool stuff. A lot of surf lifesaving fellas in there. One of the dudes, his son runs surf lifesaving, I think in South Australia, and just really cool dudes. Lots of fun. We got a 2, Jimster. That's about it. It was only a 4-6 match. We did lose because they pipped us at the post, but when you got a fella like Jack Boland at their skip and just parking stuff on, there's not really much you can do about it. So, power to them. They had a win. And we'll move straight on to game 2, which is against the Pandas. Now, Jimster, we won the first end of this match, and then we didn't win another end until the very end of the match. We went down 2-10, and again, wonderful people, had a lot of fun, just couldn't get anything in. Just couldn't make anything happen. And, these fellas, really cool people. We had a lot of fun playing against them. And, Jimmy, we're only a couple weeks out from the end of Night Owls. Isn't that sad?
Yeah,
I've had 2 more weeks.
I've had an amazing time playing Night Owls. Well, I mean, that plus the pairs day we did as single-handedly convinced me to take up Pennants next year. Next season. Next season,
yeah. So in October sort of time. Very exciting. Yeah, there's not much to say about these games. There was no weird gear to chat about. There weren't really that many exciting shots to talk about. It was really just, everyone was playing decent bowls, and the other teams were just better than us. That was basically it.
Which is the case with Night Owls. We always preface each game, usually with the old, the people that have been around it, Jack's Pack, Stretches, those sorts of guys that, 7 out of 8 people in our entire squad haven't picked up a lawn bowl seriously until the end of last year.
Yeah. But this is what Night Owls is for, You get people into the game, you have a go, you have a bit of fun, see what happens. Big shout out to the fellas that run the Night Owls at Grange. Oh, Jimmy. I need to show you something on our... I pulled this up because I was going to show you and then I completely forgot about it. Hang on. I got something to send to the potty links.
Alright, I'm going to let him cook.
Look at this gear. Have a look at the left-hand column of that scorecard, big dog.
Oh, it's fixed. Very good.
It's fixed. It's actually the Terry Termites. Not Terry's Termites with an I. Not Terry's Termites with a Y. Terry Termites. Let's go.
Very good.
2 weeks before the end of the Blake thing.
Very good, very good. I'm glad to hear it.
Jimster, we watched a bit of BPL.
We did. I didn't watch as much as I'd like, but again, I was pretty much booked out from Thursday 9 a.m. till about Sunday 4 in the morning. But no, looked like a really good time over there in Moama.
Yeah, Moama always puts on a good show. The BPL format was fit and firing as well. It was lots of fun watching these short games go ahead. And Jimster, when all was settled, the mighty Gold Coast Hawks had taken out the competition, got themselves to the final and won the whole thing.
I was so close.
Dude, you were so close, alas. Now, to talk about every single match, A, impossible, we weren't there. But B, because of how much there is, and the fact that we're already half an hour in, and we still have to get to my state single stuff, we would be here for an hour and a half long potty episode, which I don't think anyone wants. So we're just going to go through a few little dot points of cool stuff that I noticed, some cool stuff that Jimmy noticed, and then we'll go from there. In the format of BPL, you basically play sets. In these sets, you can be tied, and then you just move on. There were 3 totally tied games that went to the tiebreaker. So, of those 3 games, 2 of them were Moreton Bay, which is just crazy. And then, so the entire match just came down to like the one tiebreaker, which I think was just really, really cool. It's a unique part of the format, because in some parts of bowls, a tie is just a tie. And then in other parts of bowls, ties are broken with shots up or ends won. So to come in and have like a format that is explicitly, no, you have a tie, everyone delivers 2 bowls, is just so much fun. Yeah, most of the finals went to tiebreakers as well, which just shows how bloody close the competition is. It's just a ripper format, ripper players, bloody good on them. Now, Jimmy, did you know that the Gold Coast Hawks, right before the end of the tournament, they're actually sitting outside the finals positions?
Yeah, I just sent another link to our little chat during it. Bowls Australia have done a really neat little graphic to illustrate all of the movement throughout the entire thing. And yeah, you can see that they weren't in finals till round 22, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Knocking out the Sydney Lions, which were almost slated to win it all.
Yeah. Oh, well. Gold Coast did a really good job of riding the bubble. They did what I like to call TI4 newbieing it, which for the non-Dota players means absolutely fuck all, and I'm not going to explain it.
I was going to say, yeah, I really think there's going to be an extreme crossover between people who know old Dota esports and lawn bowls. I think it might genuinely be just us 2 people in this entire world.
That's all right. That's such a stupid reference. All right, Gold Coast, they got themselves into the finals, and they just rode the bubble all the way up and took it out. Really well done from them. Kelsey Cottrell, is typically playing lead in most of these matches. GOAT. Absolute GOAT of the tournament. In my personal opinion, I think she should have been named the MVP. Now, they gave it to Paul Foster, which completely valid. Completely valid. But every time I watched a Gold Coast match, Kelsey Cottrell was parking stuff on for shot. Every single time. She was playing these really good positional bowls, these really good head-setting bowls. Just having an absolute day out of it. And yeah, unfortunate to be in the runner-ups. So in BPL, they do the MVP and then they do the All-Stars, who are like the runner-ups. Absolutely stiff to be an All-Star and not an MVP, but bloody great tournament from old Kels. Now, Jimster, when we did our predictions, I reckoned there was going to be a Melbourne team in there. And I picked the wrong bloody Melbourne team. I picked the Extreme. I should have picked the Pulse. It could have gone either way. What we said as well, it could be a win and in for the Melbourne Derby, and it was. Yes, I picked the Pulse. I picked the Extreme over the Pulse, which was an error. I should have picked the Pulse. But the Pulse had 2 chances to get into the finals, and they biffed it both times. As in the grand final I'm talking about here. They had Geelong on the ropes. They just really had him up against it, ready to take him down. All they had to do was draw in for a shot. Missed. Second game, they had Gold Coast on the ropes. All they had to do was play out a shot. Missed. And I want to be very clear, every single bowler that went to BPL21 would destroy me in a match of 21 up, to the point that I reckon I'd get a shot or 2, but I would be completely cooked otherwise. They're very good bowlers. They had a really good time out, but it was really unfortunate to see that the Pulse, they just couldn't make it happen when things were on the line. And I'll talk about myself personally doing that as well. But yeah, it was just disappointing. They were doing so well, and they just didn't. Damn, that sucks.
There's a couple of interesting teams up and around it though, which was good. Like especially like looking at the movement. The Melbourne Pulse, man, like around the middle there, they weren't looking too favourable, and I think that's why going into the halfway point, I was like, oh sweet, the Melbourne Derby, that'll be a great one. And then it was a turning point essentially. They ended up finishing in second, and it's like, I guess that's just the lawn bowls for you.
Yeah, that's the nature of the format is basically if you turn it on at the right time, you can win the whole thing. Case in point, the bloody Gold Coast Hawks. They turned it on, and they just got there. Power to them. Yeah, it's such a close tournament that if you have a good patch of form at any point, it can be make or break for you. What's really heartbreaking though is for Geelong. Geelong did so well to get super close to it last time out, and then this time out, they basically ran the table. You know, they were on top for the majority of the tournament. They were like 3 games clear by the end of it. Smashed their finals into the granny, apart from the one that went down to the wire against the Pulse. And then they got to the tiebreaker, and it just didn't work out for them. You know, the man with the biggest nuts in lawn bowls just didn't make all the shots. That said, he did make an absolute bloody cracker that won them against the Pulse. It's beautiful, like yard on, slightly draw, slightly drive, played out a shot and sat the kitty. It was just orgasmic, mate. It was a fantastic bloody shot. Disco Giant Nuts Wilson had a blinder of a tournament. Oh, yes. All right, Jimster. Now, unfortunately, as members of the lawn bowling media landscape, we did make some predictions and some tips. And we now need to unpack those and have a chat about what happened.
Yeah.
In your finals, Jimster, you had Tweedheads, you had the Sydney Lions, you had the Gold Coast Hawks and the Sydney Saints. Got 2 out of 4. Not bad. Not too shabby. Do you want to chat about what happened to Sydney Saints?
Yeah, they just sort of weren't around a lot. Well, they started out at the complete bottom, but they brought it up to a highest position of 4th, and then just sort of went back down again. Again, I think it's just the format of the game. Looking at the team and after your little preview of them, I was keen on them, but it's just the game, I guess. It is interesting to see a lot of the movement early. Like, they went from 9th to 5th over one round.
Yeah, that's the issue with such a close pack. Just sometimes it goes crazy on it.
Yeah, but I think I get like a half a point right for having the Hawks in there.
On balance, and we'll talk about this once we go over my tips. I think you win. like you have to. But, you know, it's just interesting to highlight what's gone on.
Especially when my winner was so low in the end of it as well.
Oh, well, it happens. When it comes to my tips, I had Adelaide in there. I had Tweed. I had the Sydney Lions, and I had the Melbourne Extreme. I also got 2 out of 4. My winner pick wasn't in the finals either. It's very unfortunate. The Sydney Lions just fell away at the wrong time and missed out by not very much to Gold Coast, who then went and won the entire thing. I reckon having the winner in your pool of 2 correct answers makes you the victor of this BPL tipping competition, Jimster. Your trophy's in the mail.
Oh, so it'll be lost and I'll get it in about 8 months. Got it.
Yeah, you'll be married by the time it pulls up, I reckon.
I'll go straight on the mantle.
Well, yes. BPL21, ripper tournament, ripper coverage. We loved it. We had a lot of fun. Only one thing was missing, Jimster.
Us two.
That's exactly right.
Bring us on.
Get us on there, Bowls Australia. You follow us on Instagram. No, you don't.
They don't.
You've interacted with one of our posts on Instagram. Get us in.
Hey, but we might be making some very valuable connections soon.
Well, we may be indeed. Alrighty, Jimster. We're almost at the end. I need to have a stretch. Okay.
Yeah, I've been stretching like this whole time.
So I don't mind the early morning podcast gear. You know, the sun's come out. I can see the sun coming through my window. Normally it's dark by the time we finish. Alrighty. Jimster, I played a bit of state singles on Sunday. Round 1 of the Bowls SA state singles was on Sunday, taking place at various clubs around Adelaide. I was fortunate enough to draw the Adelaide Bowling Club, just in the city. Very cruisy little drive-in for me. It's one of the biggest clubs in the state. BPL21 player Scotty Thorburn actually does their greens. Beautiful place to play. I love going out there anytime I can, and it was a lovely day out too. Really had a lot of fun. Now, format of state singles is 21 up, which basically means you have 21 shots to lose, basically. So whoever gets 21 first, doesn't matter how many ends it takes, is the winner. It's a really good format because it can be as quick or as long as it needs to be. You know, if you're completely outmatching someone, you'll just park on 4s and send them packing. But if you're really close, it can be this really tight, long tussle. It was a really fun day out. We played in units of 3, so basically 2 people faced off and the third person was the marker, and then the loser played against the marker and the winner marked, and then the loser of the first game marked for the original marker and the winner of the first game. So everyone played everyone, basically. Now, because of that format, basically you needed to win both your games in order to make it through, or if you did lose one, you had to win the other and have gotten close in the loss. Now, Jimster, in my first match against a fella called Andrew from Turek Burnside, I lost pretty badly.
Yeah.
It was not pretty. Now, it was an early start again, and on an early start on a grass green, the grass green can be a bit slower, maybe have a little less swing in it than I perhaps would be used to playing out at Grange. Grange is a very swingy, beautiful, quick green. Playing on Adelaide's greens, which are fantastic, with that little bit of extra early morning moisture in them, where it's a little bit cooler, I was having a bit of trouble with the conditions, and it showed in the quality of my play. I was getting put in the position where I had to play some heavier shots and try and convert stuff instead of being able to rely on my draw to just pull in and park it on. With that said, I still got 7 against a fella who did a really good job. He bowled his bloody arm off and was going 1 for 1 for a very long time. And then, I don't know, I think I started to get a little bit anxious about, I got to turn it on here. And instead of turning it on and being in the zone and just bowling, I turned it on and started being really anxious and being like, I need to make a 3, I need to make a 4, I need to make a 3. And I was playing these heavier shots, trying to convert stuff and play him out, and it wasn't really working out for me. And, made some poor bowls were in that second half of the first game. But the ingredients were there, Jimster. I was still drawing some shots. I was still putting some good stuff down. It just wasn't coming together for me. And unfortunately, in 21 up, if you have a bad couple ends and you drop a 3 or a 4, you're cooked. You have to be on the whole time. And so, unfortunately, I ran out a bit of time with him. I reckon if I'd kept going for another 10 minutes or so, we could have had a really tight finish, one way or the other. And no shade to Andrew. He's a very good bowler. He played very well. For me, and you know this, you've known me for a while now, Jimmy, I can't think I was not good enough, right? I personally have to think in my brain, I am the best, I have to win, I'm going to do a really good job. And that's just sort of how my brain works. It's not a personal thing to anyone. I don't think that I am actually above anyone else. I'm not a massive wanker, I'm the best little bowler ever. Nah. But in my head, I have to think I am capable of winning this game, regardless of who my opponent is. Because, if I don't, then what's the fucking point, right? And I do think that I was capable of winning that game. I think, if I'd made a couple of those conversions, I think if I'd actually calmed down a little bit and just drawn my shots, especially when the sun was coming out and the green was starting to pick up, I reckon I would have had a much better day of it. And I reckon I definitely could have taken him down had things been different. But that's, bloody stupid. Oh, if I had my time over again, I'd do this instead. Nah, dumb. Don't worry about it. What's past is past. We move on with our lives, eh?
Yep.
Great fella, great bowler. Had a lot of fun. Because I had to play him the second game straight away afterwards. Our green... we were moving around on the rinks and stuff. And the format of the day, we had a couple of umpires taking control of what's going on. But they weren't really, militaristic in what was going on. Typically on these sorts of days, they'll ring a bell and that's when you start playing. But there was no bell for the first game. So when our rink became available, and we were hanging out for 10 minutes, the rink was still available, no one was on it, so we went, fuck it, let's just go play. So we went, we had a bowl, and we finished our first end, and the umpire of the day comes onto the green. He's like, fellas, this is an illegal start. Like carried on, telling us off. And he's like, I'll let you keep your first end, but you got to get off and let someone else have a bowl. Because in the conditions of play, the marker of a game gets 15 minutes of warm-up time on the rink that they just marked on, which, you know, is completely fair, and they were completely entitled to it. And I was never arguing that they were like entitled, were or were not entitled to it. However, when you change greens, you get a 2-end roll-up anyway, and they were going to play on the other green for their next game. So when the umpire came up to me, it was like, you need to get off, this guy needs to have his 15 minutes. I queried, he's changing greens, would it not be better for him to just go have his roll-up with his opponent anyway? Now, this was perhaps misconstrued as the emotions ran a little high, shall we say? I say high. It's a game of lawn bowls. It's not that bloody deep. I was like, what value is 15 minutes of rolling up on a green he's not going to play on? Like, what's the fucking point? But regardless, we got off. We let the fella have his roll-up. He used it for about 5 minutes and then fucked off. And then because they were like, you have to wait for the bell. I was like, there was no bell. You did not ring a bell for the first game. He's like, no, I did. I said ding-a-ling. I'm like, fuck off, dude. Whatever. Like, he was in... It's that Australian, like, telling you off, but not really giving enough of a shit.
Yeah.
Like, he was telling me off because it was his job, not because he actually cared. And so, like, they went and got the bell, and they sat down on a table. And then the second game, it's like an hour later at this point, he just walks out and is like, yeah, you can start your second game now. Didn't even roll the bell!
Classic.
It was hilarious. Anyway, game 2, rolling my bowls. Much better day out for me, game 2. Honestly, if I ever play like that again, fucking God help ya. I don't think with that quality of play, anyone could have beaten me. Like, I was just parking shit on. I was playing my conversion shots. I was just doing everything. Yes, there was a bit of luck in there. Like, obviously, the video from our videographer is from this match. But I was just on another level. I was playing like a man possessed. And I don't doubt that, you know, the losing the first game when I really should have been a lot closer than I was definitely played into that. I was playing against a really good opposition. Like, he's a skipper in Div 4, and yet I'm knocking him round, parking stuff on for shot. And then in the final end, I parked on 3 bowls, and because I'd lost the previous end, I had last bowl. So I parked on 3 bowls. My opponent puts all 4 of his bowls down, doesn't touch it. I only needed a 2 to win, so that was the end of the game. It was a bloody ripper match out. And Daryl, good fella, he used to be the president of Underdale Bowls Club, which is actually where I got my start, at the Underdale Bowls Club. Big family thing out there. It was really cool to see him. Not that I'd seen him since I was like 7, but, you know, really cool stuff.
There you go. The Adelaide connection.
Dude, the Adelaide connection is unreal. Like,
especially in a somewhat niche like lawn bowls, I can imagine that there's some connection somewhere.
Oh, everyone knows everyone. You know, there is a generation of lawn bowler where if you mention my grandmother's name, they have one of 2 reactions. They either shudder in terror, or they go, oh, she stood up for me one time. Man, my grandma was a fucking legend. Love her to pieces. Alright, this is a bit of a sidebar, but basically my grandma was a very strong-willed person, and she stood heavily on business. So, you know, if you know me personally, you know that sometimes if I really feel like strongly about something, I'll just dig my fucking heels in, and I won't let go. And I get that from her. And there's one fella who, one time he was playing with my dad, and he was talking at the table, and he goes, oh, does anyone know Lois Kruger, who's my grandma? And the people at the table turn and point to my dad and go, that's her son. And so the dude turns to my dad and goes, she once gave me such a talking to that it took me 3 days to get over it. And like Jim said, at her funeral, when I described her as a strong-willed individual, this like nervous laugh rolled around the entire church as everyone had their own like Lois telling them off story. It was great. Yeah, I miss that lady something fierce. I bought her a crow's teddy bear when I was first going out to the matches, and yeah, after she passed, I took it home with me, and I've had it in my bowls bag just for a little like, you know, this is her bit. It's a good bit of gear. Anyway, we don't just have one entry in the pay to win index. We got 2.
Unbelievable. I'm gonna have to set up a graphic for this soon. Now that we're actually getting,
we're gonna need to set up a full-on database. I went and played out at Woodville, and at the end of the game, I had a CC and try just to calm the nerves after stealing a cheeky win. You know how much that CC and Dry set me back?
How much did that CC and Dry set you back?
$8.50.
Unbelievable. I think I even wrote in the chat when you sent that in, I just like, fuck me, that's cheap.
Yeah, dude. Good on your Woodville Bowls Club. Now, Jimster, for new listeners, could you please explain the threshold of the pay-to-win index for us?
So, the pay-to-win index starts at 6 and ends at 8, because that's where we played our best bowls at the New Year's Pairs Day at Grange.
Beautiful. If we multiply 8.5 by 6, that gets us to $51. That's a cheeky pineapple, plus a goldie, to play the best bowls of your life. What a deal.
Not bad.
And then under 70 to just crank them in. How good. There was not just one entry, there were in fact 2 entries. Because the Adelaide Bowls Club cost $9.50 for a cheeky CC and Dry, which is cheaper than Grange.
I was going to say it's up and around Grange, but yeah, just cheaper.
It's 30 cents cheaper, which means to get yourself into the pay-to-win threshold, shall we say, it's 57. That's
not
bloody
bad.
good. And then up to 76 for a top end of the pay-to-win index. It's a good time out. So yeah, we've got a new lowest contender, and nothing's beaten Westlakes just yet, but there's plenty of time. Send in your submissions of the pay-to-win index, CC and Dry prices at your club, through to the parkitonpodcast at gmail.com. That is parkitonpodcast at gmail.com.
Beautiful.
All right, Jimstar, we've been going nearly an hour. It's been an action-packed episode.
Yeah, with the cut down, we'll see how we go, but yeah, 53 minutes currently without editing is fairly solid one.
There's a lot of my bloody ums and ahs to get out of there, but all right. It's time for a bit of Schuey's wisdom.
Alright, I'm going to roll the number generator now. We've got 64.
64. Alrighty. Okay. So this is part of a testimonial from a man called Norm Carmichael, who is he's been described in this book as the Swing King, so a fella that helps people with their bowling action. I can't read all of this because it is wall-to-wall text, but I'm going to read a little excerpt for you, Jimstar. It goes like this. Finding a good coach or mentor who can help you is essential if you really want to be a champion. Developing a sound technique, especially in the early years, is a good starting point. Unfortunately, many players who have been playing for 5 or more years wrongly believe it's a waste of time and no significant improvement can be gained by changing their technique. Well, let me assure you that just one session with the right coach will change your mind, often fixing everything and have you playing far better than you've ever imagined. And the rest of it's just a bloody biography of Mr. Norm Carmichael, who, as I'm sure he's lovely, is not explicit bowling wisdom. It's more of a biography. So that will do us for today, I think, Jimstar. Where can people find us if they want to submit some gear?
Well, they can find us on Instagram at parkitonpodcast. And then if you don't have Instagram, we do have a Facebook. I don't check it very often, but we have one. And then lastly, you can email us through at parkitonpodcast@gmail.com. So that includes things like your CC and Dry prices, your questions about rules. We've added today your boomer stories about getting told off for doing stuff that you thought was couth, but a lot of people thought it might have been uncouth. And then just any other fun stories like running around a bowls club when you were 10 years old. Or
Yeah, man. The Australian Gothic.
Exactly.
All right, Jimstar. We got a big day of work to get ahead of us, so I think it's time for us to say goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll see you next week. I'm not sure what we're talking about next week. I haven't looked up the calendar enough, but there'll no doubt be something to talk about.
Yeah, we'll have something more to report. But until then, it's time to say goodbye.